No, I don't mean gas. I mean gas. General Adaptation Syndrome, with the alarm, resistance, and exhaustion stage. This is related to stress activation, hormones, and responses. The best way to explain this is to use an example and explain what's happening through each example with the help of a neuroscience textbook, 2nd edition Mind Machine by Watson and Breedlove.
So let's say you're running from a bear. In the first stage, the alarm stage, the hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight response. The sympathetic stimulation of the adrenal medulla by the hypothalamus releases the hormones epinephrine and norepinephrine to boost heart rate, breathing, and other responses to prepare the body for action. The hypothalamus also stimulates the anterior pituitary to then stimulate the adrenal cortex to release cortisol, which is another stress hormone. Also in the alarm stage, the physiological activation is cardiorespiratory, and this is where you begin to mobilize resources to help cope with the stressor. Next, in the resistance stage, we are now focusing on generating emergency energy to cope with the stressor. This means you have increased breakdown of fat stores, increased mobilization of glucose stores, decreased growth and sex drive, and lack of energy storage. This cannot go on indefinitely. And when it does, you lead to your exhaustion stage. This is your loss of ability to adapt. Your physical systems begin to show wear and tear, your organ systems begin to fail, and this can eventually lead you to become more susceptible to things like illness, affection, and eventually death.
So now you can see why stress is so impactful in our lives. I would hope that people aren't usually being chased down by bears or other animals, but stress comes in many other forms that are more applicable to our daily lives, like taking a test, or driving a car and you're about to be late to work, or even planning a wedding. Do you recall the rapid heart beating, the need for urination, and the sweating? That's stress. Ultimately, our bodies make up the stress so we can deal with difficult situations and cope with it by shutting off the non-essentials so we can handle these difficult tasks and run from that bear and survive high-intense moments in our lives. So as long as you're using stress for good, everything will be all right.